Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the first edition of GoldenFox podcast. For a while now, I have been meaning to put together one of these of my very own. I've been wanting to make one of my own podcasts for a while, and I talked about it from time to time from my post shows of GoldenFox Plays. To some people, it's short notice since this hasn't been talked about anywhere else, but either or, I'm willing to give a quick rundown on what this is. Basically, this podcast is me talking about general media, whether it's about movies or television or video games or what have you. At other times, I talk about other subject matters that I would find interesting or fun to talk about. Rest assured, I'm not going to talk about any sensitive subject matters. I'm going to steer away from certain topics, depending on the severity. But for the most part, it's really meant to just be a fun little podcast that will be posted on my main channel in order to keep some activity or keep the main channel occupied. There are times when I do share some personal stories to hopefully get a laugh or two. All of this is very generic. It's a similar idea to a lot of other podcasts, but it works, and I hope it brings you guys something entertaining. As you can tell by me stuttering and going through these pockets of silence and going through ahs a lot, there's going to be some trial and error. At some point, I do hope that a good format is set in stone, but for whatever else I come to, I plan on streaming these around Saturday afternoon live on my Twitch, so you can go ahead and follow me there, or you can follow me on Twitter for any other ways of getting notified. The time for whenever I stream is not set in stone. Then again, when have I ever had a time set in stone for whenever I did my Let's Plays? But for anybody who has missed out on Twitch, I do have past episodes posted on my main channel, which I'll have published on Monday mornings, so that way you guys will have something to listen to throughout the week. And lather, rinse, and repeat. Post shows will be posted on my second channel, GoldenFox Stream, so that way you'll have something in mind. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the chat here on the right, and Eliyora said something. I don't know what. I'm trying to focus on what I'm trying to talk about here. It just works. I'm guessing there's supposed to be a song or something. I don't know. But as you can see on the left, and as you guessed that I'm alone, you can see on the left there's a caller roster. For future episodes, I should be having some guests over, and you would definitely be able to see a much more active roster. But until then, this first entry is just a quick rundown at how this will turn out. With all that said and done, I am open for any questions whenever I get near the end of the podcast, so stick around as I do dive into some things. Maybe it'll be longer, maybe it'll be shorter, I don't know exactly. So, so considering that, because I'm just looking at Ellie's question here, I'm a little unprepared, as you can tell. I do welcome some people to join in calls, but whenever it comes to me doing any future podcasts, I like to set some ideal guests in stone in the future. So that way, things don't get too haywire. And, it's something that I hope is a little more mellow and something a little more fun at the same time. Anyways, I'm kind of, more of the awkward podcast. I don't even know. Awkward podcast has its own ideal set of a format. Oh, hi.
I'm too tired to be anything but mellow right now. Hi, dude.
Hey. So I was reading your chat, reading the chat, and you said you had to take care of
Yep, I'm apparently infected with the Rakghoul virus from Star Wars, and I'm going to mutate if I don't take this special medicine.
Oh boy.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I know it's a joke. So,
I'm already a mutant.
All right. So anyway, I hope I hope things work. I have best wishes for you. I hope you start feeling better afterwards. And
thanks.
Yeah, and I hope that things work out.
Other than me freaking out about your lack of Pokemon skills, I'm pretty sure you noticed I'm nowhere near as verbose as I normally am. So
Oh, I
the
can.
actual,
Yeah,
yeah,
I can tell. Go ahead. Sorry.
the actual problem is that there was just something wrong with my throat, and I could not talk for any length of time or with too much volume without it starting to bother me. In fact, it's bothering me a little bit now because I only just today went to the doctor.
Okay.
But this means I'm not going to screech your ear off, so silver lining.
All right then. Oh. Okay. Well, hopefully, with you in the call, I hope it's there's something you can get out of it, and I hope that you enjoy being in this, being a guest in this first entry.
I always enjoy being around you, man. You're fun to hang out with.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's move on to one of the subjects that I'm going to be talking about in this podcast. So it's been a couple of weeks now since we've attended BronyCon, and this aftermath, like I've already made a couple of vlogs, but at most
Everyone call them vlogs, isn't it? Just vlog.
vlog. I don't even how they're pronounced sometimes.
I was asking, not trying to give you a hard time.
Oh no. I sometimes even I get mixed up between those two. But yeah, I do have my own vlogs. Everybody else has posted their own vlogs, but as a whole, for the time going to the last BronyCon, it was fun to be around, and there's been some other moments in which I would have wanted to include it in my vlogs, but unfortunately I couldn't because of other circumstances. One of which, in fact, I was sitting in the lobby during pre-registration day, and I passed out on a sofa. While I was asleep, somebody literally went to the trouble of writing a sticky note, and it literally said, "The missing pepper keyframe."
Okay. Okay, so that got texted to me, and I was like, oh, please let me get there in time before he wakes up. I want to get there before he wakes up, please. And I didn't, and I was so disappointed. You would have woken up like Jigglypuff style. Like, I totally would have drawn on your face.
But yeah, that happened. There was also some kind of crab eating contest that Solar had with, I think it was Unirob.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like I was shown the clips of that, and I'm just in there thinking, like, how do you eat crabs fast? And you see them like use a hammer, and they're just like banging and everything down. Like, yeah, they were on. Yeah, they were on. They're on. I believe there was a clip of it shared on Bliss's vlog, and there was one.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah, and there was also one I think shared from Maddie.
If there was, I didn't see it, but definitely just. Okay, first of all, what the hell's wrong with the British man challenging the American to an eating contest? Just saying. If there's one thing Americans can do right, it's eat. We can't government correctly. We can't politically correct. We can't common sense. We can be loud, we can be obnoxious, and we can eat. That's what Americans do. Hooray for the red, white, and blue.
So apparently Atelier Brony has mentioned that Thespio has it on his vlog. I haven't looked at that one yet, but I did look at a few others. But it's definitely one of those that I would have loved to have been around to see. The big thing that I've always called it, and you can kind of piece it together in a lot of other people's vlogs at this con, is the nickname LineCon, sorry. Because there were just lines after lines and how crowded it is. Like, I couldn't even get into the opening and closing ceremonies. And mind you, these were scheduled at a convenient time for everyone. So it's like, even at that particular time, I couldn't make it.
No, attendance was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think Sharky said he got into, like, the closing ceremonies.
Yeah, like a few other people, they managed to get to the closing ceremonies and get it on camera, which, to their credit, I will I give them respect for their effort. I'm surprised that they were actually allowed to be used, because at most...
What's BronyCon gonna do? So...
No, like at other cons, like I remember Pacific PonyCon and parts of BronyCon, there were certain camcorders and cameras that were not allowed to be used for a wide variety of reasons, most of which is that some people are camera shy, and it's just like there's a lot of questions that are racing in my head, but apparently I just have to go with the flow and just like fucking put up with it. But yeah, lines were a huge part, and I couldn't make it to those two. But I can definitely find them.
Waiting to get our badges was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, like it was like outside, it was hot and humid, and then we were
waiting in those lines for like 3 hours at least, and we got there early, so we weren't there for forever.
Yeah, and like not to like speaking of 3 hours, like we also had 3 hours of signing things. Like
it was absolutely insane.
It was. It's something that I really ought to be grateful of, because there are people who do like our stuff, and I'm not trying to be egotistic mentioning it, but good God, it was busy.
It really was. And I'm just sitting over here like, I need to get back to the booths. I don't want Bliss to be stuck there by herself.
Oh, yeah. Because, Bliss was running her booth and, running a good business. I'm not going to get into... I
wound up as, like, booth assistant the whole weekend, yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the full details because I don't want to, like, cause any bad, like, problems.
PR?
Yeah, some bad PR with some people. But basically, it was one of the most, like, considering how crowded it was, there have been some of those situations in which, if you've seen some of Bliss's videos about good fan and bad fan, you can kind of piece together there were some moments. But for the most part, it was good that she, had as much assistance and help as possible. There was a couple of people helping her out, and like I said, I really shouldn't get into the full details of that, but yeah, like
I sent you a question right quick because I don't know what the rules are yet, and they don't want to break any rules.
Okay. No, let's see. I think that one other thing in which there's always a question that I'm always having in my head, like how well does this my experience at this con compare to when I was there at 2017, and it's a bit of like an up and down, because there were two different experiences, and I think that's a blessing in disguise, because if it's all the same thing of how you want it to be, it would just be boring. But for the most part, like, I'm just, like, wandering all over the place because everybody else was busy. It was definitely different compared to when I was around a lot of group of friends most of the time, like people in our close circle. But there's a lot of other people outside of our circle who I've hung around with and got to know of. Like, I met Wolfhead in person, and he was fun to chat with.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, MythPony, I believe, she was at BronyCon, and that was the first and final time she's at BronyCon because of what. I think I may have... Yeah, I did meet Ripple Effect in person. There's a bunch of other names that we know of who have been, around us. Dev Horse, I've met Dev Horse. He was fun to be around, and... there's just... It was nice, interacting with a lot of other people who I haven't met prior. So that's definitely something different that, I can definitely take as a breath of fresh air. I thought you didn't exist, but I see you typing down in there. Yeah, Jesse, and
Jesse was fun to hang out with.
Jesse, yeah, she was. I like that she made me this one necklace. It's a feather, and there's like two guitar picks, one of which is supposed to be the diamond, and another of which was a what was it? I think it was like the cutie mark. I would have to take a look at it again. Sorry if I don't remember it completely. It's sitting around somewhere in the apartment. Part of me wants to wear it more often. See, GoldenFox offered to buy me a monster because he's Sweet Fox. Did I? I don't know.
You are a pretty sweet guy. I could believe it. Also, Ripple made me into Charky matching bracelets, which I thought was really sweet. And I'm actually looking at mine right now, and it's really pretty still.
I can actually hear the clinging. But yeah,
Charky just gave me a hug.
I didn't say anything.
You were laughing at me.
I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing over the fact that, you know, you're very, what is the term? Awestruck or...
Awestruck?
I don't think that's the right word.
What?
Wait, ripple effect? I'm jumping all over the place here.
Or Ripple. I meant to say Jesse. That was my fault.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, you know, there's stuff that, like, I also have to be grateful for Miss Anthropony, who gave me 2 plush dolls of Simba and Nala, which were really huge. I'm like, oh my god, these things are so adorable. And the funny part that was going on throughout the con was that I've had somewhat of a Lion King-ish sort of theme carried around. Like, during pre-registration day, I was wearing a Lion King shirt. I was holding the small Simba plushie that I've had around for a while.
I think I stole it, like, from you, like, 3 times while we were waiting.
Yeah, of course you did.
I was bored. Dude, you know better than anyone that I get fidgety as hell when I'm bored.
Well, you also like to get ticklish with others.
No, that's just people who get tickled.
A funny... oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I wasn't saying anything important.
No, go ahead.
All I was gonna say was that's just my one very easy way of messing with people. And are you still mad at how I figured out you're ticklish? Because I remember it was the first time we'd seen each other in person.
I think I was more hysterically angry.
No, I didn't mean actually angry.
Okay.
But, like, it was the first time we'd seen each other in person. So, of course, I'm like, this is one of the awesome people. Let's mess with him. Because I'm me, and I give no fucks, and I apparently have a built-in death wish. So,
a built-in death wish.
Yeah, so I just sneak... I was in California for the first BabsCon, I believe. And I just sneak up behind you, and this is where you started calling me Ninja all the time.
Oh no, it was even further back, because in calls I would say something and then you would make a joke of some kind at the expense of whatever it is that I said. I'm like, god damn it, I set myself up there and I didn't even know it.
No, I said ninja, not joke ninja. You'd already been calling me a joke ninja for 2 years.
Alright.
But, no, I sneak up behind you, and all I did was, like, poke you in the side, because I think you were vlogging, because, Sweetie Bloom had come to pick us up, and you were like, filming her, plushies, and then I sneak up and poke you, you're like, ah!
Yeah.
And it was like, Fox.exe has ceased to function.
And then he did it again during our travels, and you're laughing your ass off.
I did it a lot. And ever since then, every time I see you, I'm like, well, it's tickle time.
Yeah, but
it's so easy to get to you that way.
I also, like, back to BronyCon, I still love the moment when, one moment where I'm vlogging, and it was for a TF2, and you're like, you want to say, like, I started saying, look at all these losers, and then you tickle back at me again.
Mm-hmm.
It was still worth it.
Like, you keep on saying things that you know are going to antagonize me when I'm within arm's reach. So you've got a built-in death wish, too.
I was about to mention, yeah. Something funny, going back to pre-registration days, that while I was wearing the Lion King swag. I'm gonna call it that. A couple of other people were asking me like, "Hey, did you see the Lion King remake? Did you see the Lion King remake?" I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell, yeah, no." I saw it, and like most of you have already seen. Like most of you probably know what I think of it. It's stupid, and that's an understatement.
Anyone who spends any amount of time with you since you saw it knows what you think of it.
And yet people still question me about it. So it's weird. It's like, you know what my thoughts are, so why would you bother asking me?
Well, not everybody's gonna know.
You know, that's true. But I think the biggest highlights have to go to when I'm signing autographs and I was given those plushies from Miss Anthropony. And another of which, whenever I go to have dinner with a couple of people, there was also one with TF2, and they're having a what is it, a brunch or yeah, something like that. I slept in late that morning. I was like,
you did.
I was.
Something had happened to you.
Yeah.
No, like legit, you were so late coming to the brunch that I'm like, did something happen at the convention? Like, is he okay? And then you text somebody, and I'm like, you fucker.
Well, it also didn't help that during Thursday night, Keyframe had a panel called "You Suck and Why That's Okay," and that was at 1 a.m. So yeah, I was.
BronyCon was kind of stupid about assigning reviewers panel times.
Yeah, and it was at that kind of expense. I kind of slept in. Like, funny enough, like I didn't get moving until Chrissy called me, and I was like, it's like, hello, Brett, where are you? Are you supposed to be here? It's like, But yeah, no, that
like, get out the wind-up key. You need to get going.
Yeah, that's why we have the 6-to-1 rule. Oh, shut up, Ripple.
Somewhere in Texas, a rainbow alicorn just screamed.
I also really like the that very panel. Keyframe has been very happy to have known about how much of an influence that her panel was, despite being held at such a late hour. She's been talking about her wanting to do it a little more often. It's not set in stone, and I'm just going to leave it as that. Things may change afterwards, you never know. But it turned out pretty great, and, that's another one of those highlights that, I really enjoyed throughout the con. And the last of which, I don't know if you were there or not, it was during Sunday night, and everybody was grouped together for a family group shot.
I don't think I was there for that, no.
Okay. Well, I was there, and it was incredibly silly. Like,
you were there, and you were there, and you were there. Sorry.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Don't judge me. You're judging me.
I'm not judging you. I'm just like pockets of silence, awkwardness. No, but yeah.
That's ANY and Keyframe's thing.
Yeah, that's their shtick, not me. So, you've been to BronyCon a couple of times, like more than I was.
I think I've been there about 3 times total.
Yeah, and how does this one fare out to the other two?
It was definitely a lot crazier. There is no comparison.
Crazier
you laugh. I am dead serious.
Crazier is in better or stressful?
Yes.
I'm going to take that as both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
of course, I had a very different experience for this convention compared to other ones, considering I've never done the vendor thing before.
I can imagine how difficult it must be to run one.
Well, I was helping run it, but Bliss really needed the help, and I wasn't. You know me. I'm never gonna bail on someone who needs some help.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. By this point, with BronyCon ending, there are going to be like other cons sticking around. BabsCon is going to be around, Everfree, and I think TrotCon. I'm sure. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, okay. But At some point, I do hope to check out those other cons. I'm pretty sure they're going to get more attention now, considering that BronyCon was the big con that everybody would go to. And now it's kind of like split into a couple of other cons now. Or at least I hope that's what the result is for next year. So I'll try to see if...
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think BabsCon is like shooting for the top spot right now.
That's what I've also been hearing, but there's a lot of people who want to check out Everfree. So it's like, I think those two are competing for the highest rank. I don't know.
I'm going to be that person and say with complete sincerity that I hope Everfree gets it, considering the stories I've been told about BabsCon from you guys.
Okay. Well, I do hope to check those two out. So, until then, this is pretty much the BronyCon Aftermath. The results, like, I didn't really have too much to say about it. This was definitely set up for a much bigger discussion, but at most, anybody who has attended, I hope you enjoyed being there. With that being said, let's move on to the next topic.
Okay.
All right. So, here we are with the first half of Season 9 of Friendship is Magic, the final season. The second half is currently airing. I don't know if you've been caught up yet or not.
I haven't been watching the show for a while.
Okay, then. Well...
This just turned into the awkward cast. I'm sorry, ANY and Keyframe, we're gonna be ripping off your trademark.
Well,
Hashtag.
Okay. I'll be giving out some... I'll be laying down some detail on how it's been going so far. I think it's been going pretty well. The season opener has a bit of a clunky start. It's got some issues here and there, but at most, like, it does its job thematically at what it's telling us and what it's exciting the rest of the season.
Excuse me.
My favorite episode so far for the first half. I hope. I don't know what's in store for the second half yet, but I did enjoy a lot of Sparkle 7, and that's become my favorite so far, the 200th episode, and mainly it's because it's a good spotlight equally for every character, and I think that's something that the show kind of needs to do a little bit more often. Comparing that to, let's say, Slice of Life, which was just entirely fan-driven. Fan pandering, where everybody was just doing a bunch of stupid shit. This one is...
I thought that episode was funny, though.
It was very funny. I'm not going to say that Slice of Life was a bad episode. I'm not one of those people who crap on an episode because it was there just for fan service. I mean, it's a celebration of reaching that high of a milestone, because up until then, the staff members didn't even expect to go that far. And now that we've reached 200... I really like what they went for, that the voice actors wanted to lay down their story elements with their character counterparts and try to bring something even with each of them. And I really love that at the end, Spike was the one to reign on top. But it's an episode I definitely recommend. Frenemies is another one of those episodes in which it's a breath of fresh air, but it's also another one of my favorites so far. Basically, it's about, like, the rest of the villains, and they're doing a bunch of silly shit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, Cozy Glow's involved. I don't care.
You don't care about Cozy Glow?
I fucking hate Cozy Glow.
What about Chrysalis?
Is she dead yet?
No.
I don't care then.
You don't care then?
She needs to die, painfully, on a windshield.
Ouch. Wow, this ranged from, like, Eliyora to just, like, Mod Pie Ellie. Like, an edgy Mod Pie Ellie.
Hi, Mod Pie.
Because Mod is very monotone in her voice. Yep.
I am not monotone.
Modly, or oh my god. I'm looking at the chat right now.
Okay, DB, go fuck yourself.
Alright, for any episodes that I didn't like, as far as I'm concerned. Sweet and Smoky was forgettable at most. It seemed a little out of the blue that Garble was suddenly given a lot of development. It's a similar treatment that he had with Diamond Tiara with Crusaders of the Lost Mark, and that it's right out of nowhere and it's trying to get you to sympathize with them, and I just couldn't buy into it. So that was kind of difficult to follow along with.
Magical Star, you're not helping in the slightest.
Oh dear God, I am going to ignore what he is saying. I do not approve of that. Nope. There was also one episode where Quibble Pants comes back again, and there's actually a personal background that goes on with him, in which I'm not going to go into full detail because it's kind of spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm. I find it hilarious whenever Quibble Pants is brought up because Patton Oswalt is a Charky's favorite comedian, so he was stupid excited the first time he voiced a character. It was hilarious.
So how he reacted to it?
Mm-hmm. He's like
All right, so I'm going to be having somebody else add to the discussion in order to...
I'm sorry, I'm not helpful for this.
No, you're fine.
Sorry.
So, hi, Myth.
Hi.
Hey.
I had to adjust from the lag.
Hi, Myth.
'Cause I just heard you say, I'm going to be having someone, and then, bring, I'm in.
But yeah, no, like I said, as this podcast is starting, it's going to be a bit of a trial and error. So, Myth, I'm sure you have some things to say about Season 9 so far?
I'm liking it so far, but maybe because I don't have to review it afterwards, I'm not taking a whole lot away from most of these. Except I'm noticing a lot of development of non-main characters. Like what you were just saying about Quibble Pants got more development, and like the villains had their own entire episode.
And Spike got a lot of respectful development in the 200th episode.
Yeah.
I like how you have to emphasize respectful development for Spike.
Respectful development.
Yeah, because Spike was treated with such a punching bag in the earlier seasons, and it just irritated me.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, that was just going too far.
Because before now, every time he's developed, it's because he failed at something and then learned. And now it's where he succeeded over everyone.
Or it was a Spike at your service.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, we don't want to touch on that one. You okay over there?
You know how much I hate that episode.
Yes, I know how much you hate the episode. You had to fucking hammer on my fucking head.
I'm fine. I've had all my shots.
There's actually one episode that I tried to like, but I couldn't get into it. And they did everything they could to make it emotional. It was The Last Crusade, where we finally see Scootaloo's parents.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Even
and it's...
I heard about this one.
Yeah, it's like... I get what they're trying to aim for, but the way everything was executed, it's just frustrating. It's like, you get what you want, but it's so unsatisfying.
Like it comes with strings attached.
Yeah, and it really could have been done much better. Like, I think they could have written the parents a little better in such a better way. Like, they did try to make the parents sympathetic and supportive of Scootaloo despite their circumstances, but something about it just did not sit well. Like, like the kind of feelings I have with it mixed with how I felt with Parental Guidance and Crusaders of the Lost Mark, in that it has this emotional weight to it, but I can't get into it because of the frustrating factors. Whereas with Parental Guidance, which I've stated before, I hated that episode because I really did not like how it was concluded. The way this one was concluded was a bit on the questionable side, and I don't know. Like what Wolf had said, the parents are dicks. Like, they're unintentionally dicks, and that's the problem. It's
Yeah.
it's that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Because if you think, like, in a canon sense, like, not as a fan, but if you think about them as individuals, have been off just being a pair of ponies doing whatever they're doing, and then they come back to get their kid, and they don't really think about what she's been doing back home. They think, okay, we need to bring our kid with us. We can only see what's in our purview.
Yeah.
It's selfishness.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's almost narcissism.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
I just wish that the episode could have, done a better job with it.
Like, in the beginning, like the very beginning, they're hyping up that her parents are coming home, and she's like, my dad does this, and my mom does this, and they're epic. And then as soon as we meet them, it's like the energy starts declining to where when I was watching it the first time, I'm like, really? Did they really just have them say that?
So yeah, The Last Crusade, it's one of my least favorite episodes of the season. Like, I don't hate it, but it really just, like, it stings on a very personal note in a bad way. That's kind of how I felt with Crusaders of the Lost Mark. Where, while it has the emotional weight, I couldn't find myself getting into it because of how shoehorned Diamond's development was. I do like that they established where she lived, and that was, being with her,
Her aunts.
her aunts.
Everybody gets
I liked
all
them.
hyped up. Everybody gets all hyped up about the fact that her aunts are actual lesbians. I'm just like, who cares?
Yeah, when the episode opened and they were there, I was like, oh wait, is it the father's sister and the mother's sister? How'd they become friends? Oh no, wait, they're a couple, aren't they? Or like, does one of them have two sisters? Oh no, they're clearly a couple.
So I'm currently looking at the chat, and some people have said that the orphan theories have been completely demolished. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, this was just a theory you guys had the whole time. I think it's because they held it so close and canonizing it in their own heads, or head canons at this point. If it comes out different compared to what you thought it was, like, don't take it personal. It's really something that it should be taken into consideration, that sometimes what you theorize is not always going to go the way you expect it. And that's why I don't follow a lot of people's headcanons. Like, it was just an idea of who, like, if whether or not Scootaloo was an orphan or not. But now that this is all established and laid out, that question can definitely, rest in peace. But
In other words, don't take headcanons too seriously.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! You need to pay Firebrand now.
No, I don't.
No.
I'll pay him with pinch it.
He hasn't copyrighted that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So, what other episodes? Oh yeah, She's All Yak. I really like that episode. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I keep forgetting the name of the play that it was based off of. My Fair Lady, I think it's called.
I'm not very familiar with that one.
Okay, well, basically, it's a lady who it's a woman who's been living in poverty, and she wanted to figure out what would be best to My Fair Lady. So it was a woman who was trying to who wanted to know how to be a proper lady and such, and she goes through a lot of ups and downs and learning how to communicate with the higher class. And it there was a movie of it, and it was a musical. I don't know if it was purely a musical. I don't know if it was based on a book. I don't know too much of the origins, but I do know that She's All Yak was loosely based off of that. And it's Yona wanting to adapt and trying to be like a lot of other ponies, where in the end it's about her being herself. The way they executed it, I think they did a good job with it. And it made me appreciate Yona's character a lot more.
I remember watching like each of the teachers, they're the main six, each of the teachers being confronted with the student saying, hey, I want to learn something. And then she says, well, here's how we do it in our country. And like, I know she's trying to learn, but at the same time, like, so many teachers are telling her, oh, don't do that. Do it this way. We do it this way. Like, this is our tradition. This is how we do this. This is what we wear. And it's like, you could play a little more into what she's got going on specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, expecting Ponyville ponies to not adhere to tradition is like expecting it to rain sand.
Yeah.
Unless you're around Silver Quill, in which case, pack an umbrella.
Oh my god. Oh, we can never share this idea with him. He'll abuse it.
Yes, he will. Let's see. Sweet Smoky is my least favorite. Sweet and Smoky, it was kind of forgettable at most. Like, it didn't irritate me or anything. That's right, I already talked about it before. Garble's development was very much shoehorned, like Diamond's was.
The redeeming qual. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just looking at the chat, and Derek the Brony said Yona Bar best ship name. My brain immediately goes, "What would you do for a Yona Bar?"
We'd ship them for a Yona Bar, clearly.
A shipping bar indeed.
Shippers. Hold on. There it is.
Keyboards.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. What falls under the umbrella of shipping can become kind of crazy. So
my best friend is Sweetie Bloom. You don't have to explain it to me.
Yeah.
So, I think one final episode that I could talk about, because I wasn't able to cover everything. It was the two princess episodes, or the two princesses episode where they're traveling around the world, and it was a fun little like slice of life on their end.
Celestia's such a dork.
They both were. Like, I love the freaking fashion of what, like, it's such a switcheroo between Dark and Dawn. That's what the name of it was. There was such a switcheroo in their fashion and personality. Like, we always saw Luna dressed up in like dark clothing when it came to fan art, but it's the opposite when you see Celestia in the episode. Whereas Luna is just dressing all bright and like happy. It's hilarious.
That was the episode that birthed Goth Lestia, and I will worship her forever. She is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, besides my mirror.
God, Fluttershy, eat your heart out. So yeah, as a whole, I like what season 9 is going for. Like, it's nothing too big. I do hope that that it turns out, pretty good throughout the last season. Ending on a good note. That's really what I care about.
Yeah.
As far as the recent episodes go, I've enjoyed The Last Laugh, and if you like, I don't remember the rest of the episodes at the top of my head, but
Last Laugh's the only one I've seen. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Although, don't talk to Voice of Reason about it.
Let's see. There's Going to Seed and Student Council.
Oh yeah, Student Council. That episode I didn't like.
Oh, there. Going to Seed is the one with the great seedling.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
On a harvest and Apple Bloom's obsessed. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like a handful of other episodes that I'm still digesting my thoughts on, processing. But as a whole, there hasn't really been anything that like got me mad. Like, Last Crusade is on the Last Crusade is kind of on the level of what got me to feel strongly about, but not to the point where I just viciously hate it. But
I had a little. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I had a little bit of a problem with 246 Great, the cheerleading episode.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Just the whole time you're thinking, Dash, you were teaching someone to cheer in season 1. Like, you can do this. Like, what's your problem?
It's not about what I wanted to do.
It's just so ridiculous because she constantly wants a cheering section, and now it's like, oh hey, like throughout the whole season, like was it season 1 or season 2? She had a fan club and she was constantly trying to get attention until her friends made up Ne'er-do-well.
Yeah, that was season 2.
I think that was more along the lines of wanting people to say some like complimentary things, just for her ego, whereas a legit cheering team for a sports team, I think what the show is trying to differentiate from.
Okay, it's just it seems odd for her to have absolutely no interest in it, rather than just like not knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, it's the same as people who like scoff off cheerleading, thinking it's not hard. It's just super simple. You're not really doing anything. It's just eye candy. Blah 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 blah.
I think that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's what they were trying to go for, and it's more of that. Like in that sense, see no value in cheerleading. Like I was somewhat able to relate to that because all I see is just them like spreading arms out and everything. But there's a. I just had the word in my head and it left me. But there's a rhythm that has to go through.
Routine.
Yeah, there's a routine you have to prepare for. It's a little more to do than just going around saying "Go team, go team." So I like that the episode was trying to aim a little bit towards that.
Fun fact: when I was in middle school, I tried to go for cheerleading.
I was in mini cheer when I was in elementary school.
No, I didn't really make it past tryouts because I'm like, this is gonna be scary and it's gonna hurt a lot. I think I'll say no. I'm gonna go be lazy and sit on the bench.
You know what, though? What'll make people take cheerleading seriously? When I was in high school, we were at like a pep rally, and this one girl, like everyone's favorite girl in the whole class. I don't know how. Like, she was just nice and smart, and we liked her.
Mhm.
But anyway, she was part of the cheerleading team, and she was in one of those things where two people will hold her up under her feet, so she's like way head and shoulders above everyone else. She fell during the pep rally.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, onto her back. And everyone stood up on the benches and we're all dead silent. You can't get anyone in that school to be silent. We were all dead silent for a few minutes, like trying to hear them talking to her. And then after a few minutes, they stood her up and she stood up and she kind of awkwardly waved to the bleachers because everyone's staring at her. And we actually applauded because she was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like that's a moment that'll make you take it seriously. It's like, oh, they're not really just messing around. Like it's it's a real sport. It's a real dangerous
It's
thing.
gymnastics.
That's
what it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I do like the idea and the direction that the episode was aiming for. It didn't hold up very well in execution. Like I don't hate the episode.
Like I get the moral, because the moral was, well, just because it's not important to me doesn't mean that I should act like it shouldn't be important to you.
Yeah, and I think that is a very good lesson to be taken across. So, like I said, there aren't any episodes in Season 9 that I really hate. The episodes that really tick me off are when they have an implemented bad message, a poorly executed message in such a way that it can be very misleading, or when it's handled carelessly, or just overall just not fun at all.
Yeah.
It really there's a lot of variables in that area, and I've grown to grip myself a little bit better over how I judge episodes over time. And
Grip yourself.
And a lot of other people. I think.
Say it.
I wasn't sure if I should, but oh my god.
I think we're ready to move on to the next topic.
All right.
All right, so this one's gonna make Ellie cringe so hard, but I gotta talk about this. Mulan. This has been around for a while now, the trailer for it. And I can already hear it.
I'm fine.
I studied the trailers this morning. I'm optimistic about it.
I should clarify something.
Okay, go ahead.
The way the trailers look, it looks like it's going to be a good movie and a more more loyal interpretation of the Mulan legends. So that I don't have a problem with. My problem is with the Disney remakes as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're digging into a barrel of shit and pulling out one fucking good seed to plant, what's the point? Wow, I silenced everyone.
Sorry about that. So what's your question?
Question.
because I've heard you lay down the background that you can see the direction of what Mulan is intending to do in contrast to the animated version, and the very fact. Go ahead.
I said clarify, not ask.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
But this is definitely taken off of what Ellie said, that, a lot of the Disney remakes, or what I like to call Delars sometimes, it's become so oversaturated that it's just like, how many more times is Disney going to do this? As long as it makes money, unfortunately, and there's really nothing much else that can be done about that. But, you know, trying to look at some of these remakes is kind of like looking for a diamond in the rough. I've heard a lot of people say their praises about the Jungle Book. I still have yet to see it, but I did see the Mulan. Yeah, and I did see the Mulan trailer, and I think I'm crossing my fingers that it becomes another one of those diamond in the roughs, where it did something different enough and appreciative, and not trying to copy and paste its own script or do the same thing in such a dramatic sense, like with The Lion King.
I mentioned, I was studying the trailers this morning, and I was thinking, well, I'm pretty sure at least isn't going to be a shot-for-shot remake like The Lion King was.
Yeah, like if you're gonna go ahead. Well,
I was not, because people are saying that Mushu isn't going to be there, and what did I write down about this? I've heard that Mushu won't be in this movie, which does deprive from the Mulan that we knew before from her foil. So we probably won't get the I'm doing this for promotion versus I'm doing this for my family and honor back and forth from the animated movie. However, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, in my opinion, I don't think it's too bad of a thing to have Mushu gone, because it feels like a different movie, and I think her motivation would be played out well without a character foil. Like, if he were there, I would absolutely love it. But I think, like, the original was kind of a light, fun thing, which we obviously know was made for kids. I feel like this might be a slightly deeper reimagining or retelling of the same story. Like, if you tell your 5-year-old nephew something that happened to you, and then if you tell, like something happened to you in high school, for example, like, you'd tell it in a lighthearted way. And then if you tell, like, your best friend the same thing, you might tell them some, like, deeper, more meaningful details because, they'll understand it.
And, something like that is what I can actually appreciate when they do something in a different, like, I'm not going to say it's a different coat of paint, but more of just, like, a reimagining in its own, like, I think it's, okay, I'll tell you this much. If you're going to retell the same story, at least deliver different spins from a lot of its narrative. A very good example, and I'm kind of bouncing off the walls here, the Karate Kid remake has the same narrative story, but it's got a different place, a different setting, different set of characters, and the kid learns kung fu instead of karate. But it's the same structure about, confronting an adversary that is a bully problem, and a couple of other adversaries in which I'm not going to get into the full details of, but it's not so much as a different coat of paint, but a different structure that delivers the same feel. With Mulan,
that's the sort of remake I can get behind.
Yeah, that's more of a dramatic remake. But with the Mulan remake, they did say that they're going to try to aim more for the old legend. I'm not going to say it's going to be very specific about that, because I was told that the actual story of Mulan is very depressing. Shocker. Almost every story that Disney is based on has been very, very bitter. So
like Pocahontas.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's because a lot of fairy tales are just depressing as hell, and nobody wants to admit it.
Yeah. But I don't mind it, like, having happy endings attached and such, because it's really just something that keeps you entertained, and it kind of comes on a good note that makes you feel happy, and you feel satisfied of what you heard. So there's many reasons why, and that's why I don't mind having happy endings and such. But for how this goes out, I do hope that this is a similar result with how the Jungle Book was laid out, where it has the same narrative told, but in a different way of presenting something instead of shot for shot. And despite I did hear complaints about Mushu not being in the movie or the remake, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, if he was there, wouldn't that have also been too close to the animated version?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, if they're going to remake this, there does have to be a little bit more thought put into it.
I'll admit I had a bit of a knee-jerk, like, no Mushu? 0 out of 10. Fuck you, Disney. But then I thought
I felt the same way when I first heard that. It's like, he's the dragon, and the most interesting character.
But then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know what? That actually opens up a different way to tell the story. So let's see before I judge.
Yeah. So
well, if there were some kind of like spirit dragon companion, like I know Mushu's not really a spirit, but the idea is, you saw the original. If there were some kind of dragon companion in a more live action and somber sense in this movie, I feel like that would just blow me away if it was done right.
I want there to be some point where a cricket comes out of Mulan's breakfast.
Oh, there's probably so many opportunities for it too.
Watch, like the movie comes out and it doesn't happen, you're like, boo, 0 out of 10, worst movie ever.
No, see, I want that to happen because I'm pretty sure that just eating crickets isn't a big deal in Chinese cuisine. So she would just pull the cricket out and be like, okay.
Especially if she's among a bunch of men who are getting trained for battle. It's like, you're not going to make a big deal out of a cricket in your breakfast, are you? No, they'll know I'm a girl.
But, before I move on, I do want to say that, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic about Mulan. I'm pretty sure you guys are thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Oh, I had one more note. I like that they're utilizing music from the first movie. Because in the trailers I watched, I heard some of it.
I think they did.
Like, in the original, where she's that night when she takes her father's letter and she puts on his armor and cuts her hair, and that building instrumental music, I heard that in one of the trailers, and the that theme that sounds a lot like that you hear in a lot of the battles. I heard that in a trailer, and specifically a violin or an orchestra sounding version of "I'll Make a Man Out of You." That all sounded good. I'm like, if they include this in the movie and it's not just part of the trailer that we never see again, then I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Okay. So yeah, I'll end the topic with this. I do hope that it turns out well. I might give it a chance, but until then, there's one final topic, and this will be the Q&A. All right.
Q&A.
Yeah, so basically, this is just a rundown of any questions that some people may have, and if I missed anything, or if we missed anything, or there's something else that may be unrelated, like the kind of questions that I'm opening up for, I'm kind of on the loose end for right now. And like I said, this is just going to be trial and error here. So I'm going to be currently looking at the chat and seeing what kind of questions that some of you may have. Of course, one of them says, I don't have any questions. Okay, well, all right. Anybody else?
Wait, one person doesn't have questions? Oh, we can end this now. Good work, team. I got a question earlier that was, which of the student 6 are your favorite?
Oh.
Personally, I like Smolder and Yona because we see them bring in a lot of their own cultures into the group, and then the group just kind of accepts it. Like, they're not, like, they don't try to change the others to believe what they like, and the others don't try to tell them that's wrong. They're just like, oh, cool. You're making us all a little more interesting and more educated.
Okay, let's see. Played any good 3DS games lately on my stream? Oh, sorry, not on my stream. Any 3DS games? I haven't had the chance to play other 3DS games yet. There's like a lot of other stuff happening.
You know what you should play? Pokemon X and Y. Just to see how you handle the complete difference from Generation 1.
Oh, there's a whole different can of worms when I talk about Pokemon. So yeah.
Gree.
Yes, I know.
Sarcastic gree.
All right, so ask all, favorite villain from the show or just in general?
Sephiroth. Not really.
But if I were to pick a favorite villain in the show, I actually don't know. It used to be Chrysalis, and then she got dumbed down later on.
Gladmane.
Gladmane.
The Las Vegas pony.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because he's so forgettable. He's my favorite because he's so forgettable, and you don't see people go on and on about their headcanons and their shipping with him and all of that.
Yeah, because he was such a predictable character. Like, oh, yeah, he's got this nice guy personality. Yeah, you can tell he's got guilty written all over him. Same thing with, what's his name from Rarity Investigates?
Oh, Windrider?
Something like that, yeah. Oh, dear God, that was just like nobody was even trying. But no, my favorite villain, I probably would have to say T-Rex so far. But I also enjoyed a lot of Sombra during this Season 9 premiere before he got his ass wiped away.
I was gonna say if we can count Equestria Girls, I'd say the Sirens, because they're good villains.
I did like them.
They do have a distinctive personality that, I can see that it definitely deserved its own following in the fandom.
And they have good reason for all the discourse that they cause. It's like that's how they eat.
Mm-hmm. So there's quite a lot of questions I kind of overlooked, and I'm sorry if I did. Let's see. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or Mountain Dew? I'm fine with either or.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
Salsa.
Hater tears.
Let's see what else I can find, because I can scroll up here. Let's see.
Somebody had asked thoughts on the DuckTales universe.
I am definitely open for that. I have to catch up on the show itself. I've been meaning to watch it. I really, really love the pilot episode so far, and I hope that that I get more of what was impressive for that. I did hear a lot of good things so far. I remember receiving word that there was going to be this own universe of all these other Saturday morning cartoon characters or Disney afternoon characters. Like, there was one with Darkwing Duck that I was shared a few clips of, and it was fun to watch.
I'm so excited about Darkwing Duck.
Oh, I'll bet you are.
I'm so happy. Because, no, it's like they have Jim Cummings voicing Negaduck, and I'm just like, yes! Thank you!
Yeah, I think Chip and Dale may be brought back. I don't know.
I hope that's the case. That's my favorite Disney afternoon show.
Rumors about that.
They were on like the promotional material, so I'm just like, they're at least gonna be acknowledged. Give me more of this, yes. This is where Disney is actually good. Fuck the movies. Stick with your television.
All right, so let's go to the next question. What is your favorite animated scene from any cartoon, movie, or anime?
The opening to Code Lyoko.
Okay, so the opening to Code Lyoko. I mean, if I could... sorry, go ahead.
No, you go first.
I could bore everybody's details and, specify something from a Disney film. But that would be too easy.
Oh, I know. Describe it very vaguely, and we have to guess what Disney film it is.
Okay. A lot of people say it's a different kind of moral. That's not your, generic, wanting your dreams to come true. Something that's a little more down to earth and human.
That's from The Lion King.
There you go. But no, it's kind of hard to pick because there's a lot of scenes in animated movies to an extent, because animation has become, I can't call it a genre. Some people take issue with that.
It's an art.
Yeah, but in animated movies have been the type of movies that I love watching, And as you can tell with a lot of movies that I've reviewed, I mostly watch movies that are kind of rated PG, you know, something for like somewhat of a younger audience compared to like R-rated flicks. So,
and yet we still talk the way we do.
Yes, we do. Ripple Effect said that she was going to guess The Princess and the Frog. You know, that's actually a good guess, because in that movie, there's a moment where the father says to Tiana that achieving your dreams comes hard work. And you know,
I just watched that.
Yeah, no, I thought that was a brilliant move on that part. So let's see, what other questions do we have? Let's see, Disney movie OG Jungle Book. You mean like thoughts on it, or? Because I honestly don't know.
Oh wait, maybe he's trying to guess the movie that you were alluding to earlier. When I said that we had to guess which one you're describing.
Oh.
Ask Call, what's your favorite anime?
Studio Ghibli.
What's your favorite anime? Inuyasha.
Yeah.
Inuyasha's pretty great.
I have yet to watch that.
Watch it.
I have all of the DVDs. DM me an address to send them to.
Oh, my apologies, Mr. Analog. I think we can go for one more question before I end the podcast. Let's see. Okay. I got one from Mr. Analog earlier. Have you thought of playing any old DOS games like Command & Conquer or King's Quest? You know, trying to work with DOS games, I still have yet to figure out how to, you know, work with them or how to activate them. They're, I would be open to trying them out, though. I heard a lot about Command & Conquer. I've heard a lot about, whatever the other one was. Well, as far as DOS games go, my experience is kind of minimal at that. I was more accustomed to console games. But I do remember a platformer called Zargon, which is a run-and shooter game, sort of. Like, it's a weird platformer game. Like, not as in, like, Mario weird. As in, like, just weird.
There's a DOS game that I used to play when I was younger that I would really love to see you play, just because I know it'd frustrate the hell out of you.
Oh boy, what is it?
It is called Betrayal at Krondor, and I want to see you play it because it's a very slow-moving RPG in DDoS form. You would get very impatient.
So what is this called?
Betrayal at Krondor.
Betrayal at Krondor. I'll have to write that down somewhere. Maybe it's available on Steam. I don't know.
I think it's a. I'll talk to you about it later.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. So yeah, this was the first podcast, a lot of which was pretty quiet. I kind of expected it to be a little mellow at first, and it's gonna be a little like I said, trial and error and everything. But I do hope that, you know, the next time I do one of these podcasts, they turn out better. So for those who have been sticking around on my Twitch, be sure. I hope you enjoy a bit of the post show, which I'm going to try to run it short. For those who are watching it on YouTube, or the podcast that is, I do have the post show set and ready for to be shown on my second channel. You might be able to find it on the second channel if you're subscribed there, or whenever it's live, I can definitely have it pasted in the description box on that one. So thank you for sticking around, and I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.